Alrighty, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy White Album here. Welcome back to some more Witch on the Holy Night. Before I get started, if you've been following this playthrough for this long, leave a like down at the bottom of the video, man. It just goes to show some support and that you guys have been enjoying this game as much as I have. With that being said, let's get back into the game. I think the last time we left off, Alice and Sodro finally started talking to each other. So, oh no, we are way ahead of this. Let's go. Alright. Ignorance is bliss, I suppose, said Alice as she took a sip of her cold tea. Look, cold tea is the best type of tea, or iced tea is I guess is what you would technically call that. She made no attempt to explain who was fortunate, or why. A moment later, her beautiful face contorted in revulsion. Yuck. She abandoned the cup to the floor once more, her black dress unceremoniously scrunched up as she stood. Just one sip of the underbrewed tea sent her fleeing to the drawing room to remove the bad taste from her mouth. And he tried. As soon as she was gone, Aoko hesitantly took the teacup in her own hands. It was almost certainly better left untasted, but she could not help but wonder how Sodro's tea could arouse such a strong response. After one small sip, she returned it quietly to the floor. Yep, he should have used the tea bags like I told him to. Dummy. The expression on her face was nearly identical to that of her roommates. Ah, new book added to archives. Oh, okay. So let's save that. Let's save. Yes, I want to save. All right, so let's see what oh, hold on. What's the archive? What's the new books? Hello? There we go. What's that say? Martha? Why would you say that name? Why not? Let's read it. Let's read it real quick. If it's different like the other ones, then I actually want to kind of get this one so I don't miss anything too important. So let's go here. Martha. Oh, this is certainly different. I don't remember this scene. Okay. Here, hold on. Before I get to reading on Martha, let me take a quick sip of water. Walking around the mansion at night often led to mysterious encounters. No, it's fucking Sodro's face. Mist might suddenly fill up the hallway. Or doors might appear and disappear. Just when Sodro thought he had seen it all with the pig-shaped shadows mending to the carpet. Pig-shaped? Homeboy, that's fucking Amityville Horror. Y'all remember that movie? At the end, he sees like that demon face in the fucking window. That's exactly what Sodro is going through right now. No wonder why people think this place is haunted. He heard the sound of birds flapping coming from the sunroom. What's going on over there? As much as he had become accustomed to turning a blind eye to such occurrences, the sound of flapping wings in the sunroom was too much to ignore. Not just one bird, or even two. It sounded like dozens. So many birds packed into the sunroom would inevitably lead to shattered windows or broken glass. Sodro grabbed a broom and dashed toward the sound, prepared for the worst. Perhaps he was moved by his natural impulse to help, or desperate self-defense. His mind flashed to what a teacher had said at school. Hey, Mr. Yamashiro. You should all make sure to keep your rooms orderly and clean. Work ethic and self-discipline will have a positive impact on your surroundings.
それまで犯罪の少ない町だったのに、一つボロボロの家ができただけで、近隣住人がみんな自堕落になるというあれ。
Think about it. Even in a nice neighborhood where there isn't much crime, it only takes one ill-kept house to send the whole block into a spiral of depravity.
環境への無関心さがすさんだ精神を作り上げるとか眉唾ですけど、正直なところ ブームだからって盗んだバイクで走り回ったり、学校の廊下の窓ガラスとか割って回っちゃダメですよ。先生の仕事が増えますから。
Of course, we all know a messy room won't turn you into a criminal. But I'd better not catch any of you breaking windows in the hallway or going for a joyride on stolen motorcycles. Think of all the pain you'd be causing your poor teacher. Sojiro's like, I'm not impressed, dog. At the time, school gangs had garnered a certain reputation among the youths.
窓が割れると心が荒れる。
Broken windows lead to broken hearts. I don't think that's the exact translation he was going for there, Sojiro, but whatever floats your boat, my friend. Sojiro appreciated the basic message of the lecture. He had ruminated over it. Ruminated. Okay, interesting. That's another word I've never heard before. This game has taught me a lot of new vocabulary that I'll probably never use, but it might come up every once in a while. Who knows? The thought of broken windows had given him a sense of urgency, as if the mansion's very moral foundations were at stake. His roommates were harsh enough with him already. Anything further would lead to rampant rumors at school about their cruelty. He had to protect the honor of the house. He had to protect the honor of the student council president. I mean, we've already seen kind of tarnished with the way she's been treating my boy, but they haven't seen it yet, so I'll let it somewhat slide. It was also concern for his own safety that sent him rushing to the sunroom. However, there wasn't a bird to be seen or a chirp to be heard upon his arrival.
Ara.
Oh, hey. Only Alice and Aoko, sipping afternoon tea at the table that overlooked the courtyard, were present. The dozens of birds Sojiro had sensed with his mountain intuition were nowhere to be seen. Mountain intuition, I like that.
今ここに鳥が来なかった。
Did anyone see a flock of birds?
アリス、見た？
Alice?
さあ、もう見えないのなら、いないということでしょう。
Who knows? If can't see them, that's what it says there, if can't. There must not be any birds.
だって、いないよ、鳥。
You heard her. No birds. There was definitely birds, but they're trying to cover that shit up. It was a light so blatant even Sojiro could see through it.
そんなバカな。
That can't be true. He knew for a fact that he heard the flapping of a flock of birds. Unable to accept that there were really no wild animals in the room, Sojiro approached the window with suspicion. There were no feathers or any other signs of birds having been outside either.
あ、夕食、鳥鍋？
Alright, dinner. Chicken stew, was it? Of course Aoko would say something like that when she watched Sojiro search desperately.
あいにく今日のバイトは魚屋さんだ。イワシでよければ土産にするけど。
Sorry, I'm working at the fish place tonight, but I got you covered if you want sardines.
イワシ。イワシか？私、あのパイ嫌いなのよね。
Sardines. Huh. I don't like sardine pie.
いえ、むしろイワシのパイとか食べたことないのよね。
Not that I have ever had it, to be fair. Aoko's stand-up routine was far ahead of its time. Sojiro backed away from the window and begrudgingly left the sunroom. Feeling Alice's all too familiar, inscrutable gaze upon his back.
なんだい、アリ。
What's up, Al? Just as he opened his mouth to ask her what she wanted.
あいった。
Yeah. A blue comet crashed into his head. It needed no explanation. It can only be Robin, the mysterious bird that appeared frequently in the mansion. Chirp, chirp, chirp. It shrilled accusingly. The truth was, the tiny aggressor that assaulted him now was the greatest of the mansion's 7 wonders. I mean, he's got stars on his fucking body, so I can see that. Martha, hold on. Is that Alice's mom's name? That'd be wild, right? Because that's what the book is called. Unless Sojiro just randomly meets some lady named Martha. Sojiro encountered all sorts of people along his route to work. Still new to city life, he found the crowds of people outside the station utterly fascinating. In fact, they were the highlight of his commute. No two people wore exactly the same clothes or walked in the same fashion. With so many people, you would think that they would all melt into an inextinguishable huddle, but each person he saw was different and unique. Sojiro was excited as a child as he looked out the bustling, diverse streets of the city.
いや
Stop it. Closing his eyes in shame, he sighed. He was upset with himself for behaving like a bumbling tourist from the countryside.
ちょっと青信号で突っ立ってられるの邪魔なんだけど、何柄にもなく黄昏てるんだか。
Who's this bitch? Hey, you'll get in people's way spacing out in front of the crosswalk like that. Daydream somewhere else. A stern and familiar voice behind him snapped out of his navel gazing.
なんだ、マッドベアに行く途中だったんだ。
Who's she again? Was she somebody I was supposed to meet in the other archive books that I haven't read yet? Let me guess. On your way to the Mad Bear? Yeah, I work there. The fuck?
私はコンビニのバイト。こっちは5時からだけど。しずきは？
No, I feel like we did meet. Hold on. Did we meet her? I'm pretty sure we did. I don't know who she is though. And if we did, I don't remember her for like more than 2 seconds. The fuck? My shit at the convenience store that starts at 5. You?
同じく5時から。くまりはどこか寄るところでも？
Same. 5 o'clock start. Were you on your way somewhere else? Wait, what? Were you on your way somewhere else? There you go.
本屋に寄った帰り、読みたかった本がなくなってたから、仕方なく出歩いてたところよ。
I just stopped by the bookstore. I'm out of stuff to read, so I thought I'd look for something new.
なるほど。時間を持て余しているところも同じだね。
I see. I guess we both have some time to spare. The girl who greeted him was Kojika Kumari, a work friend who was also the same year at Masaki High. So that's her name? Kojika Kumari. Interesting. She'll probably have no prevalence in the story, but you know. Though, I mean, that's probably why she's got put into an archive book, but you know. Oh, hold on. Whew. Sorry. Had to mute my mic there for a second. Though, it would have been more accurate to say she was looking for a pretext to fight him rather than greet him. To Sojiro, Kumari had been the first person in the city who he could look up to. I guess figuratively is the case there, because she's short as fuck. They met at his first job, where she insisted he wasn't cut out for to work the register after many mistakes, and convinced him to quit working at convenience stores altogether. In the end, she introduced him to his current job at the Chinese restaurant, the Mad Bear, a much better fit for Sojiro.
何その無理やりな顔。なんか元気ない。いつも以上にイラッとくるわ。
You look a little worse for wear, Suzuki. Why the long face? Never seen you so pouty.
しずきのいいところなんていつもピシッとしてる背筋ぐらいなのにみっともなく丸まってるし。
Usually, standing up straight is the one thing you're good at.
もしかして悩みとかあるの？マッドベアにタチの悪い先輩でもいるとか。それなら話ぐらいは聞いてあげるから。言ってみた
Something
ら。
on your mind? Oh, damn, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Something on your mind? Wait. Are you getting bullied by the other guys at the Mad Bear? You can tell me anything, you know. Though her tone was stern, her eyes were earnest. Having grown up in the city herself, she was irritated by virtually everything Sojiro said and did. Nevertheless, she still treated him like an equal. Introducing him to his current job was one example of her sincerity.
いや、別に悩みとかそういうんじゃなくて、不思議なことがあったというか、珍しいものを見たというか。
No, nothing like that. It's just something strange happened. Something really unusual. Sojiro could not find the words to explain the situation, but that did not stop him from trying. There were no problems at the Mad Bear to speak of. He liked it just as much as his other job at, what? Utatsu, the fishmongers in the shopping district. In fact, his problem had nothing to do with work at all. No, his problem was a certain blue bird that would not stop pecking at him recently.
鳥につっつかれる？何それ？小さい悩み。
Fucking face. You're getting pecked by a bird. Wow, and here I was thinking the world had ended.
でもまあ、青い鳥っていうのは確かに珍しいわね。
It is pretty unusual for a bird to be blue, I guess. Do they not have blue jays in Japan? I know we have these types of birds in America, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have blue jays up in or in Japan, I meant to say.
いや、珍しいのは外見の話じゃなくて。
And that's not the unusual thing about it. He stopped, unsure how to proceed. Words alone were not enough to convey the bird's plump body, or the sound of its chirping. Or the stars on its body.
綺麗な青色と言ったらマウンテンブルーバードだけど、日本にはいないわよね。
There is a beautifully colored bird named the mountain bluebird, but they're not native to Japan.
青いツバメだったらいるかもしれないけど。
Maybe it's a blue swallow.
いや、ツバメじゃなくて丸っこいんだ。図鑑で調べたんだけど、どうもコマドリっぽいけど。
No, it's more than a swallow. I tried to look it up in a bird book, and the closest thing I found was a robin.
青色のコマドリは存在しない。
Yeah, but robins aren't blue.
しずきは縁日の青ひよこって知ってる？知らないわよね。いい、そう面白い話じゃないから忘れて。
You know those blue chicks they have at the fairs in the city? Of course you don't. Why would you? Just forget it.
それより、そのコマドリって1羽だけなの？
Anyway, this robin is the only one?
ああ、1羽だけだ。つがいは見当たらない。
Yeah, there's only one. It doesn't seem to have a mate, though.
突然変異だとしたらちょっとかわいそうね。
Well, if it's the only one of its kind, then I feel kind of sorry for it.
生まれた時から最後の1羽だなんて。孤独にも程があるわ。
Imagine being the last of your kind since the day you were born. Man, talk about lonely.
どんな鳥かは知らないけど、次に見かけたら優しくしてあげたら？自販機で10円を拾うぐらいの幸運は運んでくれるかもよ。
I have no idea what species it could be. Maybe you should try being nice to it next time. It might bring you something special, like when you find a 10 yen coin in a vending machine. Her words were perfectly kind, but he could hardly sympathize with the creature after all the painful pecking to which it had subjected him to. I would punt that little shit through a fucking door if I'm being honest. Let's be honest. It's a magical being. It could probably heal itself. Just a straight fucking like Street Fighter Ken Shoryuken through a ceiling, bro. That'll teach it. He wouldn't have called the bird lonely either.
いいじゃない。小鳥1羽ぐらい。
If one little bird is all that's bothering you, you're lucky.
そりゃ都会で鳥につつかれるのは珍しいけど、いい方の珍事よそれ。これがゴミ袋を漁るカラスの大群だったら困りものでしょうけど。
The pecking part is weird for sure, especially in a city like this. But it could be way worse. Imagine getting attacked by an army of crows that swarm around the dumpsters.
あ、そういえば他にも気になることが。
Right. Actually, there was something else bothering me too. Her example had reminded him of the mystery of the disappearing birds at the mansion. A stranger than strange event.
実は今、あそこに見える丘に住んでるんだけど。
See that hill? I actually live on it.
出るんだ。大量のムクドリが頻繁に。そのくせ、街に出ると見かけない。
I see lots of starlings around there, but for some reason, they never come down to town.
当たり前でしょう。街じゃ鳥なんて見かけないし。あそこは山だから動物は多いんじゃない？
Well, duh. You never seen birds in town. But on a mountain like that, there are bound to be wild animals.
それよりあなた、 あの山に引っ越したの？前のアパートは引き払ったって聞いてたけど、学校まで通うの大変じゃない。なんだってあんな偏僻なところに。
Why would you move away there anyway? I mean, I heard you moved out of your old apartment, but isn't it a pain getting to school? What are you doing out there in the boonies?
ちょっとした成り行きだよ。それに通うのは大変じゃない。大変なのは中の話なんだ。
Things just work out that way, and the commute isn't that hard. If anything is painful, if anything is painful, it's what happens inside that place.
ん？
It took 30 minutes to reach town on foot. The 40 minutes to the nearest convenience store would be the real kicker for most people, but for Sojiro, it was no inconvenience. The real problem was the dark forces beyond human understanding that lurked within the grounds.
すまない。それはクマリに話すことじゃなかった。
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring all my complaints to you.
それより今の話だ。町には鳥が少ないと言ったけど、どうして？
Though I am curious about how you said there aren't many birds in town. Why is that?
単に環境に適応できなかったのよ。
Simple. They failed to adapt to the environment.
何？鳥の話には随分と食いつくわね。しずき、動物好き？
I didn't know you were so interested in birds. Are you an animal lover or something? He lived in the fucking mountains, you dumb broad. Of course, he would know a thing or two about animals. What the hell? What?
どちらかというと好きな方だけど。
I guess I do like animals more than I dislike them.
そう、私は嫌い。そんな私に鳥の話とかしてほしい。
Really? I can't stand them. I'm surprised you didn't pick it up on it sooner. Is he supposed to care? Her statement could hardly be more contradictory. Minutes after telling him to be nice to a bird that attacked him, she was not claiming she did not even like animals. I know, right?
そう
What
だ
the
な。
fuck?
嫌いなだけで苦手でないのなら、知ってる範囲で聞かせてほしい。
Well, even if you can't stand animals, I still like to hear what you know about birds.
痛いとこつくじゃない。
Can't take a hint, huh?
いいわ。バイトまでの時間つぶしにしてあげる。
Fine. I need to kill some time until work starts anyways.
さっきの続き。環境に適応できるかできないかってところからね。
So, like I was saying, survival is all about being able to adapt to your environment. Wonder how this is
今
going
で
to
こそ
affect
こ
the
んなだ
story.
けど、美咲はここまで大きな町じゃなかったんだって。
Misaki's pretty big now, but it wasn't always like this.
昔はその半分が森だったから、彼らはもともと森に適した生活をしていたのよ。
Half of it used to be woodland, which was closer to the type of environment the poor things were used to living. The way Kumari addressed them was of note. Whether she liked them or not, she seemed to at least have some respect for them.
でも近代化した町じゃ自然のサイクルも成り立たない。人間ってのはまず環境を自分たちの都合に変えるから。やぶかが多いってことで小さな川の流れを変えたり、町中コンクリートで塗り固めちゃえば鳥的にはお手上げよ。
Nature ended up with the short straw as the city modernized. Humans always change their surroundings to suit their needs, after all. Diverting streams to get rid of mosquitoes, covering everything in town with concrete, it made the area unavailable or unlivable for the birds.
虫も森も少ないんじゃ、もう山に逃げるしかない。彼らは故郷を追われて、この森から山に移った。
Without enough bugs or trees, they had no choice but to flee. Chased out of their own homes, they moved from the forest to the mountains.
人間にとって都合のいい町は、鳥たちが生きるコロニーにはなり得ないから。
A convenient urban center for humans isn't the kind of place that can support a colony of birds.
そんなことぐらいで減るものか？
And that's all it took to get rid of the birds in the city?
その、姿を見なくなるぐらいに？
And just like that, we never see them again?
そこまで極端じゃないとは思う。現にあなただってムクドリを見てるでしょ？
It's not that extreme. I mean, come on. You just said you see starlings.
比較の問題よ。 町には人間が多いから、鳥の姿は余計希少に感じるだけ。たまに見かけるだけで珍しいと思えるぐらいにね。
It's all relative. There are so many humans in town, the number of birds seems small in comparison. It feels special just to spot one out here or there.
ああ、確かに。じゃあ鳥は町からいなくなっただけで、あの山に移り住んで。
That's true. So they all just left town and moved into the mountains, huh? Humans might not be able to see them in day-to-day life, but they were alive and well, nothing less. Their habitat and lifestyle changed with the times, but they never fully disappeared. Sojiro's sense of relief was sharply disrupted by a serious look from Kumari.
あの山に天敵がいなければね。
But the birds aren't safe in the mountains.
人間の手による乱獲か、移った先にいる生態系との衝突か。どちらにせよ、居場所を失った彼らの寿命は短いと思う。一世紀持てばいい方かもしれない。
They're still overfishing by humans and conflict between the birds and their new ecosystem. With everything going on, I doubt they'd last very long. Even a century might be optimistic.
旅行鳩の例もあるし、気がついた時には取り返しつかないのが動物と人間の関係よ。
Just look what happened to the passenger pigeons. Once humans noticed what they'd done to them, it was already too late. That's how it always is.
旅行鳩
What are passenger pigeons?
So,
Her point exactly.
旅行鳩。体長は40センチほどもある大型の綺麗な鳥。
Oh, they were large, beautiful birds. About 16 inches from head to tail.
オスの翼は深い青色で、胸は鮮やかなエンジ色。オレンジ色の目は嘘みたいに愛らしくて、その羽は時速100キロで長い距離を旅するの。
The males were a deep blue, with vivid red on their breast. The cutest part was their orange eyes like something out of a book. And they could fly up to 60 miles per hour over great distances. Her voice had a certain tenderness to it. She was daydreaming about the bird she had never seen in flesh.
北アメリカにいた鳩でね、春は南から北へ、冬は冬越えのために北から南に移動するの。
They were a type of pigeon native to North America, so they used to fly north in spring and then back south in the winter until it got warm again.
今から100年以上も前の話よ。
But that was over a century ago.
彼らはかつて地上で最も繁殖した高等動物だった。
They used to be the most common higher animal on Earth.
何しろその数は50億。当時の総人口より多かったっていうんだから、圧巻よね。
There were 5 billion of them in total. That's more passenger pigeons than humans. Pretty amazing, right?
なんと、人間より数の多い動物がいたっていうのか
Whoa. I never thought about an animal being more common than humans.
うん。でも、彼らは絶滅したわ。他ならぬ人間の手によって。
Yeah, I know. But now, they're all extinct thanks to those same humans.
16世紀にヨーロッパからアメリカ大陸にやってきた探検家たちは、空を覆い尽くすほどの鳥の群れを見た。
Settlers from Europe who went to the Americas in the 16th century mention a flock of passenger pigeons so vast they cover the entire sky.
それが、旅行鳩を記した一番古くて確かな記録。
Those are the oldest written references to them we have.
まあ、私も本で知った知識だけど。
Books are the only way to know anything about them these days. They kind of look what's that Pokemon's name? Swallow? Or Tailo? That's what they look like.
太陽を隠して、そのおびただしい数で森を覆って、雪のように糞を落としていく光景なんて、今じゃもう夢物語でしょうね。
It's hard to imagine so many birds that blocked out the sun, cover whole forests, and rain down droplings like snow. It sounds like something out of a dream, doesn't it?
でも当時の人にとっては悪夢だった。
But for people back then, it was more like a nightmare.
旅行鳩一羽一羽は美しいフォルムをしていても、それだけの数が集まれば、それはもう暴力なんだから。
Sure, each individual bird was beautiful, but together they amounted to a violent force of nature.
彼らはその時点では森を破壊し、人間を脅かす悪魔のような存在だった。営装地は 10km にまで及んで、1コロニーにつき5万羽近い鳥の鳴き声が響いたのよ。一瞬にして風景を変えるほどの鳥の群れと、世界を覆うほどの鳴き声。冒険家たちが救んだのもうなずけるわね。
They were downright demonic with the power to destroy forests and threaten everyone. Their nesting grounds were up to 6 miles wide, and just one colony could have 50,000 birds in it, so you can imagine how loud it got. A flock of birds so big it could instantly transform the landscape and cover the whole land with its cries. I can see why the settlers were scared at first.
一つの住処に5万羽
50,000 birds? All in one spot? Sojiro trailed off as he attempted to count the number with his digits. He could barely count the number of people in a crowd outside the station. This would be far beyond his capacity.
でも、そんな数の鳥を人間の手でどうやって
But if there were so many of them, how could humans wipe them out?
ええ、当時誰もがそう思ったんでしょうね。でも話は簡単だったの。人間にとって旅行鳩は脅威でもあったけど、同時に安価な実りでもあったから。
Good question. No one back then thought it was possible either. But it's simple when you realize that passenger pigeons were both a threat and a cheap commodity.
渡り鳥の胸肉は美味しいでしょ？よく鍛えられてるから。そんな食材が空に向かって鉄砲を撃つだけでバタバタと落ちてきたとしたら、まあ、身も蓋もないことを言えば、旅行鳩って鳥は簡単にお金にできる生き物だった。
All the flying was what made the meat of migratory birds so delicious to humans. And all you had to do was point your gun in the air. Bang! And there's dinner. What would you do in their shoes? This might sound heartless, but the passenger pigeons were a species that could be easily converted into cold hard cash.
かくして狩りは延々と続けられた。落ちた鳥は羽をむしられて、塩漬けの樽に押し込まれて、次々と出荷された。
Naturally, the hunting went on and on. People would pluck their feathers, stick them in a barrel with salt, and ship them out.
それはもう狩りですらなかった。ただの消費。人間側は労働の実感も作業の手間すら感じなくなっていた。その頃、旅行鳩は1羽1セントで手に入れることができたんだって。ほんと、信じられる？
It wasn't hunting after a point, just consuming a resource. It didn't feel like work or labor just to the people doing it. In those days, you could get a whole passenger pigeon for 1 cent. That's roughly equal to 1 yen. Can you believe it?
その国最小の通貨1枚で売買される命が、この地球にはあったなんて。
The smallest denomination of currency in society was enough to purchase an entire life. Kamari spoke as if reciting from a textbook. Her voice was nothing less, had a certain darkness to it. Was it pity for the slain birds, or disgust for her fellow man? Either way, the pigeon's fate was a cruel joke carried out by humanity. Typical, some might say. Poor Sojiro had yet to comprehend just how typical that side of humanity was.
けど、それはまだまだ序の口で、本番は19世紀に入ってからだった。人間の旅行鳩狩りはますます熱狂していった。学校で習ったでしょ？ゴールドラッシュ。南北戦争を経て、アメリカ合衆国は急激に成長していく。西欧からの移民は増え続け、1870年には4000万もの人口に達していたわ。そんな移民たちの胃袋と財布を満たす材料として、旅行鳩は最高の獲物だった。
And that was only the beginning. The real damage began in the 19th century. Passenger pigeon hunting became more popular than ever before. Remember learning about the gold rush and the American Civil War? America was expanding really fast back then. Immigrants came flooding in from Europe, and by 1870, there were 40 million people living in America. Passenger pigeons were the perfect thing for their purses and stomachs. Wait, so they learn about our history? Do they actually learn about the American Civil War? That's pretty cool. I mean, there's only one thing we know about Japan, and that's what happened to them in the 40s. But you know, if you've been in history class, you already know what I'm talking about. So that's pretty interesting that they know about the gold rush and American Civil War, because like I feel like that wouldn't really pertain to them. So, but hey, to each their own, right?
で、もっと最悪なことに、人間は工夫する生き物だった。彼らはより早く、より多く、より簡単に旅行鳩を乱獲する手段を競い合った。目をつぶした鳩をおとりにして、集団を誘い込んで、1日で1万羽以上捕らえたやつさえいた。それでも彼らは、乱獲に疑問すら持たなかった。繁殖と狩猟のバランスは、誰が見ても、明らかに狂っていたのに。
But the worst part is how scheming people were. They opted to find the fastest, most efficient way to catch as many passenger pigeons as possible. One thing they used to do was blind one pigeon and then use it as a lure for the group, sometimes catching 10,000 in a single day. Yet no one had a single qualm about what they were doing. Any sane person can see that the balance between breeding and hunting was clearly out of whack. She was doing everything she could to speak in calm, measured tones. Sudro, meanwhile, was completely enraptured by her words. I shipped them already, if that's the case. Is that how shipping works? They talk for more than 2 seconds, they automatically have to be together? Back to the story. Having been raised in the mountains, it was by no means a happy story for him. But right now, he was more interested in knowing why it ever happened in the first place.
それ、一方的すぎないか？旅行鳩だって数が減ってくれば、人間には近寄らないんじゃ。
Something seems off about that. If their numbers were decreasing so fast, the pigeons should have tried harder to avoid humans.
そこが彼らの不幸だったのよ。
That's where they were unlucky.
旅行鳩は繁殖力が非常に弱くて、自衛手段を持たない鳥だった。大群で暮らすこと、それだけが彼らの身を守る手段だったの。
They all had really low fertility rates and no means of protecting themselves. All they knew to do was live together in groups. That was their only form of self-defense.
彼らが50億の王国を築けたのは、それまで天敵がいなかったからなんでしょうね。先住民であるインディアンも彼らを乱獲することはなかったというし。けど入植者たちは自然のサイクルには点で疎かった。何よりあのおびただしい数の鳥が絶滅するなんて夢にも思わなかった。旅行鳩にしたら晴天の霹靂よ。まさか何世紀も遅れて海の向こうから天敵がやってくるなんて。
Passenger pigeons managed to build up empire 5 billion only because they lacked natural predators. Indigenous people didn't hunt them either, apparently. It was the settlers who wrecked the local ecosystem. No one had ever imagined in their wildest dreams that so many birds could just go extinct. The passenger pigeons couldn't have been prepared for a predator showing up centuries later out of the blue from across the ocean.
そうして1896年、人間はようやく熱狂を冷ますほどの現実に直面したわ。たったの25万羽。それが確認された旅行鳩の総数。何もかも手遅れよ。急いで保護法が作られたけど、人間の習慣はそう簡単には変わらないわ。
Finally, in 1896, humans began to realize what their crazed enthusiasm had brought about. 250,000 passenger pigeons. That's how many they estimated were still left. But it was too late. The government had tried passing laws to protect them, but human habits are hard to break.
あるいは、狩人たちはこう思ったのかもしれない。まだ25万羽もいるじゃないか。1000羽や2000羽ぐらいなら独り占めしても構わないだろうって。
Or maybe hunters just thought that with 250,000 passenger pigeons left, taking 1 or 2,000 wouldn't be a big deal in the greater scheme of things.
そうしてハンターたちは当時最新の技術、電報で旅行鳩たちの所在を知らせ合って、実に20万羽の旅行鳩を仕留め、4万羽を傷つけた。生き延びたのは5000羽だけ。この時点で 彼らは野生で生きられる種ではなくなったのよ。
Hunters started using the latest technological breakthrough, the telegraph, to keep track of where the passenger pigeons were. Soon, they had shot down 200,000 and injured 40,000 more. That left only 5,000 passenger pigeons in the world. And at that point, they could no longer survive in the wild. Sojiro's face sunk into a scowl. No longer able to survive in the wild, he knew all too well what that phrase meant. No wild animal can last on its own. No animal can survive without a sufficiently large population of their fellow kind and a sufficient feeding grounds to support themselves. Strength and their mass numbers were all the passenger pigeons ever had, and so once that was gone, they were as good as extinct.
それで、旅行鳩はどうなったんだ？
What happened to them in the end, though?
最後に保護された旅行鳩はたったの3羽。シンシナティの動物園ではオス2羽、メス1羽の旅行鳩が飼育されたけど、1年でオスたちは死んじゃったわ。残されたのはメス1羽だけ。その時点で彼女は地上で最も孤独な生き物になった。
Eventually, there were only 3 passenger pigeons left. 2 males and 1 female were kept in captivity at the Cincinnati Zoo. But within the year, both the males had died. Then only the female was left. At that moment, where the other 2 died, she became the single loneliest creature on Earth.
名前はマーサ。
Her name was Martha.
北アメリカを旅する鳥たちの最後の1羽でありながら、ただの一度も空を飛ぶことができなかったカゴの鳥。結局、29年で彼女はその命を終えたわ。1914年9月1日午後1時。一つの種が終わる時間がここまで正確に残っている例は、今のところこれだけよ。
The last of her species that had once soared over North America. She would never fly free again, trapped forever in her cage. At the age of 29, she finally passed. It happened at 1 o'clock on September 1st, 1914. The only case in all of Earth's history where we know the exact moment a species went extinct. Damn, 1914 wasn't that? That was during fucking World War I. The story of 5 billion deaths had finally come to an end. The birds had been swallowed up by the machinations of human civilization. Kumari had intended to show her sympathy for the lost species, but the emotional impact had been clearly all but lost on Sojiro.
意外。できるだけ詩的に語ったつもりだけど、受け悪いみたい。
Huh. I try to make it sound all poetic and tragic, but I guess I failed.
山育ちのあなたには憤慨物の話だと思ったのに。
Aren't you angry? As someone raised around the nature in the mountains?
いや、すごい話だったけど。
Oh, it was definitely an amazing story.
その、整理がつかなくて。当時の人たちは自分たちの手で減らしておいたのに、なんで最後は保護したのかって。
But it doesn't make sense. Why would humans keep passenger pigeons in captivity after working so hard to kill them? Kumari stared blankly at him, eyebrows raised high. What he lightly meant to ask was why humans would protect the last why they would protect the last of a species they themselves had hunted into extinction. Oh, sorry, I choked on my own saliva there. Man, Kumari could hardly be blamed for her bewilderment. Having been raised in the city, she failed to recognize the danger inherent in his cluelessness. He felt neither angry towards humans, for their base selfishness, nor sympathy for the birds, who remained in their natural habitat even at the cost of their lives. His upbringing had not provided him with the necessary self-righteousness to produce feelings in either direction.
相変わらずよくわかんないやつ。
You don't get it, do you?
まあ、私が言いたかったのは、どんなに強く美しく見えても、居場所から追われた生き物は儚いってこと。しずきくん。
My point was that no matter how strong and beautiful animals might look, They don't stand a chance outside of their natural habitat. Think about it, Suzuki.
あなたが見た鳥はその最後の一羽かもしれないわよ。
That bird you're complaining about might be the very last of its kind. And with that, their idle conversation came to an end. It was nearly time for their shifts to begin, and Sojiro was the first to head off.
らしくない。何熱く語ってたんだろう私。
What was I even thinking? It's not like me to rant like that. Kumari remained in the park after Sojiro left. Martha, the last of her species, had not been referring to the blue bird when she mentioned Martha, but
やめやめ。珍しいから特別視するとかバカみたいだし。
oh, stop it. Thinking something is special just because it's rare is dumb. She rubbed the back of her head, apparently angry at herself for getting involved in something that was none of her business. She and Sojiro were not even the same class at school. He was a total stranger as far as she was concerned. But the more something bothered her, the more she felt compelled to investigate it. It was a personal quirk of hers, and the only reason she had gotten so worked up about the passenger pigeons. Well, if she's going to go up to the mountains, she's probably not going to survive that long, right? Kumari's well-groomed brow frowned. She had only spoken to Sojiro to make sure he was doing okay at the Mad Bear. Or maybe it was that she had been strangely drawn to him. The more they spoke, the more she felt drawn to him.
まあ見てて頼りないってのが一番だろうけど、話してみるとしっかりしすぎてるのよね彼。
At first glance, he looks like the last guy you would rely on. But when you get to talking to him, you realize he's really got it together. Amidst her muttered complaints, she recalled their conversation upon parting.
で、少しは街に慣れた？
So, gotten used to everything yet? To which he had given a weak shake of his head.
全然。何にせよ、覚えなくちゃいけないことが多すぎて。
Not at all. There's so many things to keep track of. He was trying his best to keep up with the overwhelming amount of new information every day. However, despite his apparent naivety and frailty, he was in fact trying to learn everything he could about his new surroundings. But at the same time, there was no reason it needed to be so overwhelming in the first place. It was only due to his own naively subordinate frame. Oh, wait, hold on. It was only due to his own naively subordinate frame of mind that he felt compelled to memorize each and every detail.
どうだろう。素直っていうのはちょっと違うと思うよ。
I wonder. I don't think I'm exactly being subordinate here.
単に、それがいいことか悪いことか、まだ分かってないだけかもしれないし。
The fact is, I'm still trying to figure out what's right and wrong, he awkwardly claimed.
そうね。でも、もしかしたらそもそも。
Right, but maybe. Just maybe. Kumari stopped herself mid-train of thought, deciding to instead wave goodbye and take her leave. She sighed aloud every time she replayed that scene in her head. Work at the convenience store started in 5 minutes. She gave herself a light slap on the face in an effort to forget their conversation. She reminded herself that she had neither the energy to worry about other people's problems nor the obligation to do so. Damn, she's like me for real. She had her own concerns saving up enough money for college, for example. Fighting against her parents' opposition every night was draining enough. There was no room for burdening herself with other students' issues.
でももしかしたらそもそもか。
Right. But maybe, just maybe. It was not like her to get so tongue-tied, she thought to herself under a strained smile.
ほんとはっきり言ってやればよかった。
I should have made my point more clearly.
あなたは単にそういうのに関わる気がこれっぽっちもないんじゃないのかって。
I should have flat out asked him if he cares all about human morality. He really did annoy her. Now in a thoroughly bad mood, she left the park in a huff. How fucking long is this, dude? It's supposed to be an archive book. What the fuck? This is like a whole chapter in itself. When Sojiro entered the drawing room after work with a gift of sardines for his roommates, he came face to face with Alice sitting on the sofa.
や、こんばんは、アリス。
Oh, hi, Alice. The sense of familiarity, to be able to say I'm home when entering the mansion, still eluded Sojiro. He headed straight to the kitchen to fill a bucket of water to keep the sardines fresh, but the icy stare on his back sent him anxiously to the refrigerator instead.
台所にバケツはダメなんだな。
Buckets are not allowed in the kitchen, remember? Calmly accepting the change in plans, he shoved the sardines into the fridge and peeked back into the drawing room. Just like that? No saran wrap, no nothing? Okay.
アリス、青崎は？
Like, I'm pretty sure Ziploc, it was around in the 80s. That'd be funny if it wasn't. That's like a 2000s thing. Alice, have you seen Alzaki?
さあ、自分の部屋にいるか、出かけているんでしょう。
Well, either she's in her room or she's gone out somewhere. Her reply was curt. He nodded and got to work cleaning the kitchen. There was nothing in particular he wanted to say to her, and also sensed that it would not be a good idea to start up a conversation needlessly. So he tidied up the sink area, washed the cutting board, wiped down the knives, and put away the cutlery so they could be easily found. Her black eyes monitored every goddamn. I want this thing to end, man. My mouth is getting so dry right now. Her black eyes monitored every action in his streamlined workflow. Because I think I'm running out of water. All right. A rhythm that even the most seasoned housekeeper would be envious of. He would surely notice her gaze before too long. He bent over to store a large pot under the sink when it happened. As he began to stand up, he locked eyes with Alice, and then... What the fuck? Mayday! Mayday! Sling your hook, boy. Ow! What the fuck? Before he could make another move, he felt something slam into the back of his head, a bright shock of blue. He knew what it was without looking. It can only be the mansion's blue robin.
洋館に戻ってくるなり、コマ鳥に呼び出される。
Why does that thing have to start messing with me as soon as I get as soon as I get home? Sojiro muttered under his breath. It was a rare situation that made Sojiro feel like complaining.
小僧、ちょっとそこに座るっす。
Pull up a chair, boy. Okay, so it talks now. I'll be honest with you guys. I thought this little archive book was going to be like 30 to 45 minutes. It's almost an hour. What the hell? I was hoping to just be like, oh, there's a quick little part and then I'll continue on with the main story. No, this is taking longer than I thought it was, man. The robin chirped in a shrill tone. You see, this little creature that loved to attack Sojiro so was the greatest of the mansion's many wonders, and with good reason.
舐めてるっすね。自分コマ鳥だって舐めてるっすね。ところで、鳥鍋ってどういうことっすか？それ美味しいんすか？今度見舞ってほしいっす。
Why does that sound like Neko? That sounds like fucking Neko arc. What the hell? Is that the same voice actress? That'd be wild. Are you having a bird bath, mate? You think you're better than me, hey? And what the bloody hell is chicken stew supposed to mean anyway? You got some think against Richard III? Richard, that's its name? Like so. Sojiro had an inkling of what the bird was getting at. For someone raised in the mountains, this was an utter nightmare. Animals were not supposed to be able to talk. Then again, having lived in the mountains for over a decade, he did sometimes feel like he could understand what the birds were trying to say. He knew it was just his imagination, but sometimes he thought that they even saw him as a friend. Not this one. Funny enough, that was not the case with this bird. Sojiro had a realist attitude towards wild animals as a result of being so familiar with them, in contrast to the ever mysterious humans who lived in the city.
しかし、現実だ。
Man, it's really talking to me, huh? As much as he wanted to deny the reality he was facing, he cannot help but recall Kumari's story. She had said to try and be nice to the bird the next time he saw it. According to her, any rare or one-of-a-kind creature must accordingly feel very lonely.
座れって言ってるのに仕方っすか。
I said pipe down, or pipe and drum down. I never heard that phrase before. You hearing me all right, mate?
あーでも椅子ないっすねここ。じゃあ立ってるっす。小坊主だけに廊下に立ってるのがお似合いっす。
Hang on. There's no chair in here. All right, just stand. I mean, I've stood up with you for enough. I stood up with you enough for the both of us.
あれ今はうまいこと言ったっすかね自分。
Get it? Pretty clever if I say so myself. The bird perched itself on the telephone receiver, seemingly worn out from all its flapping. Sojiro was dumbfounded. Listening in silence to the bird's chatter was his way of expressing his denial.
自分長いっす。プロイ歴長いっすよ。
I'm pretty old, you know. On account of me being long career as a on account of me long career as a ploy. I forget it's talking like a pirate, so.
マイ女神の頃からアリスさんに仕えてるっす。なんで青いかとかどうでもいいっす。
I've served Miss Alice when the goddess Mum was around. Don't ask why I'm blue.
特技はズバリ探偵役と被害者役。でも探偵である自分が真っ先にコロコロするんで、誰が自分を殺したか結局誰もわからないっす。
My best skills are playing the detective and the victim, but my detective side always dies first, so no one can ever figure out who killed me.
プロイ。待ってくれ。それには聞き覚えがある。プロイっ
Wait,
て何なんだ？
wait, you're a ploy? I've heard that word before. What does that mean again?
ん？なんなんだと言われても困るっす。
Say what? Is you asking what I is?
エロいと
Yeah, this is
か
that ebonics.
役いとかの最上級じゃないっすか？
I don't know what to feel right now. Sexy or terrified? I just had to read that, huh? Thusly, the conversation began between the two most powerless residents of the Kuonji estate. Humankind and birdkind, able to understand one another after all. Sojiro was tired of letting the bird get to him, fully aware that ignoring it took more energy than it was worth. Filled with a sense of resignation, by the time he finally did make an attempt to interject, both parties' guards were firmly down. Sojiro was focused on how rare the bird was, while Robin was focused on his own showdown with his rival that was to be eliminated at all cost.
いいっすよ細けいことは。そんなことよりマイ天使アリスさんの話をするっす。
Don't get your knickers in a twist. Let's talk about something more important, like my beloved Miss Alice, the angel mum herself. Mum?
なんと、アリスって天使なのか？
Wait, she's an angel? It was an impressive sign of progress that he did not need to ask what an angel was.
比喩っす。自分にとって天使のような存在ってことっす。下界の喧騒とか自分の言葉をガン無視するところとかマジ天使。
I, bruv, an angel. The way she's above the hustle and bustle of the masses. The way she doesn't give me the time of day. Absolutely angelic, I tell ya.
アリスさんは神聖不可侵にして冷酷非道。マイ女神であったところの母君とはちょっと毛色が違うっす。
She's holy and sacred, she is. But she's also cruel and humane. Pretty fitting for an angel, don't you think?
正直母君、ちょっと育て方間違ったっすね。
Honestly, sometimes I think goddess mummy. I said that, huh? It was just mum and I said mummy. Fucking hell. I think goddess mum didn't do the best job raising angel mum.
そうか。そりゃアリスにもお母さんはいるんだよな。
Oh, okay. So Alice has a mom? Yeah, you have a mom too, moron.
この家にはいないようだけど。
I thought maybe she didn't have any family at all.
イエス。悲しいことに見まかられたっす。あの頃は 前衛の鳥が鳴いたっす。アリスさんに負けないぐらい美しかったっす。後でアルバムとか見るっすか？
God damn, my ass is getting numb on this fucking chair. Oh yes, she was one, all right. But it's a sob story, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, damn it. I just realized that the fucking bird is from England. That's why it's talking like this. God damn it. Oh my god, I just can't believe I fucking realized that just now. All birds in England cried out that day. Her mum was even more smashing than Alice. Got photos later if you like. For only 6 pence. How about it, lad? 6 pence.
いや、そういうのは本人の許しがないと。
No thanks. I wouldn't want to do that without her permission. Sojiro said earnestly as he tilted his head. The reason for his unease was also due to the fact that he had grown more interested in Alice than before. Despite his detached and passive attitude, he was still a young man like any other, after all.
Yes, それはそうっすね。
And right you'd be, lad.
お前、シャバ像の割にいいこと言うっす。人の過去花とかみだりにしちゃいけないっす。
You know, you make some sense for a failure human. You're right. I shouldn't go blabbing about other people's past.
ところで、アリスさんの子供時代の話とかしていいっすか？自分、シャバ像の知らないアリスさんを赤裸々にアピールして、精神的上位に立ちたいっす。
But maybe you like to to hear about her childhood. How about it, lad? I love to lay bare some of her deepest, darkest secrets for you. It'll make me feel like a heap of dosh. Dosh is not something I've heard in a long time. The last time I heard dosh was in fucking Killing Floor.
あ、いや、だからそういう話は。
I just said I don't want to.
安心しろっす。アリスさんには黙っておいてやるっすから。
Listen, lighten up, lad. I won't tell Alice about our little rabbit and pork. Rabbit and pork.
まずはあれっすね。自分とアリスさんが初めて出会った時のメモリーを聞くっすよ。アリスさん、見えて友達一人しかいなかったっすから、もっぱら自分が話し相手っつうか。
Let me start with the day we first met. Despite her looks, she didn't have so much as a single friend in the world, you see. I was the only one that Mother of Pearl had to talk to.
ほら、壁相手にカコーンカコーンってピンポン玉打ち返すゲーム、あんな感じっす。アリスさんのメモリーはおよそ14年分。じゃあ1年目から行くっすよ。
Imagine playing that game where you bounce a ball against a wall by your lonesome. It was just like that. 14 years of memories with her I have. So let me start at the beginning.
いや、だから。
I just said.
行くっすよ
Here we go. Okay, before this part gets a little too long, that's going to be it for today's episode. I didn't think this little divergence from the main story was going to be this long, but damn, because I was just assuming that's going to be a quick little chapter, maybe 30 or 40, 45 minutes, and now it's an hour. So we'll definitely finish this part up next time. So hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy White Album. I'll see you guys next time.